Right now, Nathan Tabor, and correct me if I'm not pronouncing your last name right. Nathan Tabor was the guy in the video that has gone viral. It's been on Red State, Hot Air, absolutely everywhere, who was punched by a leftist union organizer simply because he was exercising his freedom of speech. And the guy was also roughhousing his wife. Good afternoon, Nathan. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, and I apologize for running behind. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course.
It was amazing that open-minded, tolerant liberal getting so upset with our peaceful protest.
And from the video, he just walked up and started yelling.
And I wasn't even in on the yelling part. I was back 10 feet. I was holding one of the cameras that you see in the video. Mm-hmm. So I'd not had a word with this gentleman.
Wow.
He came in, and George Bush is his fault, and Dick Cheney this, and wealthy people that, and Obama's, this, that, and the other, the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
And two or three people engaged him. We said, hey, it's time to go put down our signs. Let's walk in. We, arranged with the Congressman Watt's office to come in, but they have certain guidelines. And I turned my camera off and walked around to my 5-year-old daughter, who was sitting with a friend who was drawing with her. And I turned around, and this gentleman pushed me. Had not said a word to him. Had no conversation, no contact, no eye contact, no nothing.
And your little girls were right there too. That's kind of scary. And he was also on camera shoving your wife.
So that's my camera. So I'm holding my camera. I turn my camera back on and say, "Sir, please don't push me." And he smacks my camera. I said, "Please don't touch my camera." And you can see my body go back, and he comes right up to the camera, 6, 7, 8 inches away, and says, "I'm going to F you up."
Unbelievable. So
he didn't say that word. My mom would wash my mouth out.
Oh, of course, so, yes. So have you had any kind of dust-ups like this before at any of the rallies that you've had?
No, we've had. I've been involved in politics for a number of years, and we've had passionate conversations.
Yeah.
But we've never had anybody. So after that, he then turns around and pushes my wife, and I say, "Don't push my wife," and he pushes her again. I push him off my wife, protecting her, and I would do it again. And
he's a big guy too. I mean, he was definitely bigger than she was in the video.
Yeah, he's probably 6'2", 6'3", 220, 230 pounds.
Yeah, and your wife looked like a little bitty thing, bless her heart.
After he hits me, he keeps coming. He pushes my wife over, runs over her, swinging at me again. And 2 or 3 gentlemen there, push him out into the street.
And it shows on the video. I mean, he wasn't provoked. There's nothing that we didn't see on the video.
No.
I mean,
I've sent. There's a 17-minute video. There's an 11-minute video. I've released both of those videos, and there is nothing that provokes this man whatsoever from our side at all.
So afterwards, the police were called. And at the very end of the video that you had, it was showing that you were telling him you need to stay because the police want to talk to you. He cussed you out. What ended up happening? Because the last frame that I saw, it looked as though both of you were standing near a police car. What happened afterwards, and are you going through with pressing charges?
So the police come and they look at both videos. They talk to a few folks. They make their report is that I was assaulted. So they take the gentleman down to the magistrate's office. I voluntarily ride down to the magistrate's office. I get there. 2 magistrates look at the case. One writes an arrest warrant for him for assault and communicating verbal threats. The other one comes over. They talk for a minute. They issue me a criminal summons for assault.
Oh, because he came back and said, "Oh no, you pushed me," even though.
Yeah. But the magistrates refused to look at the videos. They refused to talk to any witnesses. And then they refused to, the police officer stepped up and said, "Your Honor, I was there. I've seen the videos. This was assault."
Wow. So the police officer essentially was the one who stepped in to make sure that justice was being properly served here.
And it was not, because when he walked out of the magistrate's office the same time I did. I had the same chart for protecting, doing my constitutional right, freedom of speech, and then protecting my wife,
Yeah.
I get charged with criminal assault.
And he made you acted in self-defense. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I pushed him. Did I push him? Yes, I pushed him. And I pushed him because he pushed my wife twice. When he pushed me twice, I didn't touch him.
This is, I mean, we've seen so many examples of this here in St. Louis. We had a man, Kenneth Gladney, who was profiled as a conservative, as a black conservative, and he was beaten up by, again, people with SEIU, people with the union. Now, this guy, were you aware that he was like a union organizer or has had a history of protesting and all of this stuff? You guys, did you have any idea who he was?
When this gentleman walked up, there had been 10, 15 people walk through that crowd who were either coming in the building or out of the building. Hello, good morning or good afternoon. How are you? Good. Very cordial, very peaceful protest until this gentleman showed up.
Unbelievable. Well, Nathan Tabor, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. And, I hope this is resolved, and I hope that you get the justice that you deserve from everything that we've seen in this. This can't stand, and we can't have people be intimidated and women be manhandled by people on the left simply because they disagree.
3 quick words of advice.
Yes, sir.
Love God, love your country, and carry a video camera everywhere you go.
Absolutely. Nathan Tabor, thanks so much.
God bless.